lesson for today, and this is your fellow brother and your teacher. Welcome to English 9. So last time we discussed the use of modals in prohibition, permission, and also obligation. Now at this point, let's talk about this topic. Using conditionals. You see, there are times that as we go on to the decisions that we are doing, there are times that we must present some choices to make, and then after that we will decide which is which. Like for example, what are the conditions to make? So in this lesson, let's talk about this. The sentence structure of conditionals is composed of a condition and a consequence. This structure makes use of a wide variety of verb forms and tense combinations in order to convey the viewpoint of the speaker as to the fulfillment of the condition. So as you can see in the example given, let's find out. What do you think will happen if Greg will thoroughly study his lessons? And we have what we call the keyword here, which is if. So if we'll use that, if Greg will thoroughly study his lessons, he will have pass grades. What do you think will happen? Let's go to the second one. What do you think will happen if Greg will not study his lessons at all? Then it's simple. If Greg will not study his lessons, then his grades will fail. So far, we can point out the importance of this topic. Now, what do the sentences you completed express? You see, most of it, especially the two sentences that we have mentioned right now, well then, we have seen the condition and consequence. So, what common word did we observe in this statement? It's simple. The word if. Conditionals are statements that describe the outcome of something that might happen in present or future, or might have happened but did not in the past. They are often called if clauses in English because they are signaled by the word if. Also, a complete conditional statement is composed of a condition and a consequence, as what we have learned before. These conditional statements may be used to express different ideas, one of which is an argument. Let's take, for example, the following. If we plant more trees, we reduce the risk of flood. Cherilei will go to the cinema if she finishes her chores on time. If I had gone to school early, I would have attended my first class. So, let's point out this way. As you can see, here's the condition. Here's another one. And here's another one. So, if there is a condition, there will be what we call consequences. So, I'm hoping that you understand this topic, since, you see, when it concerns on this topic, we're going to realize about the importance of conditional, using of conditional in sentence. Let's go to the four main types of conditionals. First is zero conditional sentences. These conditional sentences express general truths and ideas. This type of conditionals is used when the consequence will always happen. We can make a zero conditional sentence using two verbs. Remember that. two verbs in the simple present tense. This means that the tense in both parts of the sentence is in simple present. And we can see the said formula. If plus simple present tense plus simple present tense. As we go on to the examples. If Stanley eats a lot, he gets fat. If people drink too much alcohol, their health conditions suffers. If you don't drink 8 glasses of water a day, you become dehydrated. Take note, guys, in zero conditional sentences, the main clause, which is this one, may come first before the if clause, but both verbs, here the following, must still be in the simple present tense. The second one is first conditional sentence. This type of conditional sentence is used to express situations in which the consequence is possible to happen but not certain to happen in the future. This conditional sentence uses a verb in the simple present tense on the term if clause of the sentence and a verb in the simple future tense on the main clause of the sentence, which is if plus simple present tense, remember this, plus simple future tense. So you see the difference here. We will see the examples of the following. If I finish my homework early, here it is, finish, I will go to the fair. If you give me enough money, I will buy a new dress. If I see Elisha, I will tell to go to the library. Note that in the first conditional sentences, the main clause may come first before the if. Here, as long as the verb in the main clause is in simple future tense, the first one, and the verb in the if clause is in the simple present tense, like this one. So let's remember that, okay? The third one is second conditional sentence. In this type of conditionals, the conditional sentences are used in expressing consequences that are completely unrealistic or are impossible to happen in the future. This type uses a verb in the simple past tense. Here, simple past tense for the if clause and an auxiliary modal verb, which are the following: would, could, might, you name it, in the main clause. And in the second conditional sentences, the main clause expresses an unrealistic, here it is, or impossible consequence, which is, we're going to look at it in the example. If I found tons of gold, I would fly to the moon this instant. Wow, this is impossible, right? If Jonah learned how to swim, she would swim the entire Pacific Ocean, which is so impossible for a human being to do that. Let's say, for example, from the Philippines to California. If I went to the jungle, I would see a dinosaur. I don't know if he was talking about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, Velociraptor, Stegosaurus, you name it. But if he was talking about chicken, maybe. But anyway, note in second conditional sentences, the main clause may come before first before the if clause. So this will be the first one. As long as the verb in the main clause is an auxiliary modal verb, and the verb in the if clause is in simple past tense, just like this. And lastly, third conditional sentence. These conditional sentences are used to express that the present situation would be different if something different in the past had happened. These sentences show consequences that would possibly enough to happen but did not really happen in the past. So the third conditional sentence uses past perfect tense in the if clause and modal auxiliary plus have plus past participle in the main clause. So the main clause expresses the consequence that would happen. So if we'll go on to the formula, if plus past perfect tense plus modal, which are the following here, plus have plus past participle. Past participle, I mean. So if we look at that, if you had told me you needed to see a doctor, I would have left work earlier. Please, you must have to follow this. Especially, I have already highlighted by using this pen. If they had appeared for the interview yesterday, the company could have hired them. And another one, if you have this one, Jeremy had continued, which is past perfect tense, he would modal have and past participle gotten. Note, in the third conditional sentences, the main clause may come first before the if clause, as long as the verb in the main clause is composed of a modal, have, and past participle, and the verb in the if clause is in the past perfect tense. So, as you can see, remember, a conditional by itself is not an argument. Conditionals are used to express arguments. Remember that. Okay? It is to express, so to speak. Conditionals can be parts of the conditions, consequences, or results, or both, like what you have seen in the example. Like, if you study, then you'll pass the exam. If you pass the exam, then you'll graduate. Therefore, if you study, you'll graduate. It sounds like some sort of logic, right? This example expresses an argument about studying and graduating. The argument is this, that if an individual studies, he will graduate. And notice that in this argument, the following conditional statements are used. Here, and here, and here. So you can see that in the sentence. Conditionals play an important role in communication, especially when we express arguments. Like, for example, if you see some of my videos concerning how to argue about, for example, since I'm a Christian, I have presented some arguments to prove that God exists, for example, or that Jesus had risen from the dead, or let's say that the Bible is true. You see, you know what? To prove your point, you need to provide supporting ideas for your arguments. This will help you support and establish your point of view. Recognizing the different types of conditionals and being able to use them appropriately will give you an edge on supporting your arguments. And a complete conditional is composed of what? Condition and a consequence. So by using conditionals, you can provide solid supporting ideas to strengthen your claims. So, this is what we have learned today in our lesson, and I hope it will help every one of you to know that we can use the conditionals, especially when it comes on talking to other people, discussing some arguments, and having some sort of a respectful conversation. In our next video lesson, we'll go on to the communicative styles for various situations. I hope and I'm praying that we have learned a lot about this topic. So thank you guys for listening. See you on our next video lesson.